Hi everyone, this is Toiba from Tesla Creations. Today I'm going to be making this lovely skirt. I'm going to be making this pleated skirt. You can see the pleat design there. So I'm going to be making it for 0 to 6 months size. For this skirt, you can use DK weight yarn or light worsted weight yarn. So I'm using this light worsted weight yarn here, 5.0 mm hook, and then stitch marker. So for size 0 to 6 months, I'm going to be starting with a slip knot, and then I'll chain 56. So go ahead and chain 56, and I'll join you when I'm through with my 56 chains. So I've chained 56, and then I'll join it in the round. So I join with the slip stitch to the first chain that I made. So I'm going to go ahead and make the first round now. So I'll chain 2. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch. Then I'll go into the very first chain and make a double crochet. That'll be our first stitch of the round. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. So then I'll continue with a double crochet into each chain around. So at the end of round 1, I have a total of 56 double crochets. So just go ahead and do that, and then I'll join you at the end of the round. So also please mind when you are joining your chain that you do not twist it, so that the band will not be twisted. So I'll just go ahead and finish my first round, and I'll join when I'm through with the first round. So I've gone around and I have 56 double crochets in all. So I'm going to join the first round with a slip stitch to the first double crochet of the round, and with that I'm through with my first round. You can see the band, you can see that it's not twisted. So I'm going to continue to the next round now, which is round 2. I'm going to chain 2. Remember, the chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And then I'm going to start making the ribbon. So I'll go around the first stitch of the round with the front post double crochet. That'll be our first stitch of round 2, and then I'll go around this next stitch with the back post double crochet. So I just keep repeating that front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, and then back post double crochet around the post of the next stitch all the way around. So just keep repeating that, and I'll join you when I'm through with round 2. So I've made the last double crochet of round 2, and the back post double crochet. So I'm going to finish the round with the slip stitch to the first stitch of the round, and then I'll continue on to round 3. So round 3 is just basically a repeat of round 2. So I'm just going to chain 2, and then I'll make a front post double crochet around the first front post double crochet here. Mark my first stitch, and then a back post double crochet and the back post double crochet from the previous row. So I just keep alternating the front post double crochets and the back post double crochet all the way around, and I'll join you when I'm through with round 3. So I'm through with round 3 now, and I have 56 stitches in all. So I'm through with the band of the skirt. So I'm going to be starting the body of the skirt now. So for round 4, I'm going to chain 2. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch, and then I'm going to go into the first stitch of the round, and then I'll make a double crochet there. So I'm going to mark my first stitch, and then I'm going to make a double crochet into each stitch around. So at the end of round 4, I will say I have 56 double crochets. So just go ahead and make a double crochet into each stitch around, and I will join you at the end of round 4. So I'm about to finish round 4. I've made my last double crochet, so I'm just going to remove the stitch marker and then finish around with the slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. So for round 5 now, I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch. That's the second stitch, and then I'll mark the first slip stitch that I made when joining the round. I hope that's clear enough. Let me do it again. I'm going to join the round the slip stitch to the first stitch of the round, and then I'm going to make another slip stitch into the second stitch of the round. Then I'm going to mark the first slip stitch that I made, the slip stitch that I made while joining the round. And now I'm going to make, I'm in the second stitch now, so I'm going to chain 2. Remember, chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And then I'll make a double crochet into the same stitch. So basically I just skipped the first stitch. And now I'm going to make a double crochet. Let me mark my first stitch. This will be the first stitch of our round now, so let me mark that. So I'm going to make a double crochet into each stitch around, and I'll come back to show you how to finish off this round. So I'm about to finish round 5. I've made 54 double crochets, so I'm going to make the next one. And now to finish the round, to make the last stitch, I'm going to remove the stitch marker here, the one that I used to hold the slip stitch that we made when joining the round. So I'm going to go into there now, and then I'll make my last double crochet. So in all, I still have 56 double crochets, and I'm going to join the round with a slip stitch to the first stitch of the round now. So basically I'm just trying to make sure that the seam is a bit straight, so that's just the reason for that. So moving on to the next round now, just be a repeat of round 4. I'll chain 2 and then make a double crochet into the first stitch of the round. I'll mark my stitch, and then I'll make a double crochet into each stitch around. So that's for round 6. So I'll just repeat round 4 for round 6, and then round 5 for round 7. So I'll just go ahead and do that off camera. Just repeat round 4 and 5 one more time. So I'll join you when I'm through with round 7. So I'm through with round 7 now. So to start round 8 now, round 8 will be the row where the pleat is going to be. So to start round 8 now, I'm going to chain 2. Remember, the chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And then I'm going to make a double crochet into the front loop only of the first stitch. Sorry, into the back loop only of the first stitch. So that will be my first stitch of the round. Let me mark it. And then I'll make 3 more double crochets into the back loop only. So we have 2, 3 and 4. So I have 4 double crochets into the back loop only. So next I'm going to make double crochet into the front loops only now. So I'll go into the front loop only of the same stitches that I've walked into. So I'm just like I'm going backward. So I'll make a double crochet here into the front loop only. 2, 3, and then the last one, 4. And then I'll make double crochets into the same front loop again. So I'll continue. I'll start from where I stopped, double crochet there, 1. I'm going to the next one, to the front loops only, 2, into the next one, 3, and into the last one here, 4. So next I'm going to make double crochet into the front loop only of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So then I'm going to work into the back loop only next. So into the back loop only of those 4 stitches, I'm going to start from here, make a double crochet, 2, 3, and the last one, 4. Then I'm going to make double crochet into the same back loops again. So I'm going to the last one that I just made and make a double crochet there again. 1, to the next one, 2, to the next one, 3, and then the last one to the back loop, 4. So you can see what we have so far. You can see the pleat. So that's the first one. So just repeat this 6 more times, but let me repeat it once more on camera so that I can get the hang of it. So I'm going to start by working to the back loop only. So I'm going to work double crochet into the back loop only of the next 4 stitches. One, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'm going to work into the front loops only of the same 4 stitches now. To the front loop only, I'll make my first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'll make double crochets into those front loops again. So I'll start from where I stopped now. 1, to the next one, 2, to the third one now, 3, and the last one, 4. And then I'll work 1 double crochet into the front loop of the next 4 stitches. Front loops only. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So and then I'll go into the back loops only of those 4 stitches now. One, 2, 3, 4. So I'll start here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'll walk into the same back loops again now. So I'll start there. 1, going to the next one, 2, 3, and the last one, 4. So there you have it. You can see what the pleats looks like so far. So I'll just keep repeating that. So you should have 7 in all. So I'll go ahead and do the remaining 5, and I'll join you when I'm through with round 8. So I've gone around with the pleats, and I'm about to finish round 8. So I'm going to finish the round the slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. So moving on to round 9 now. I'm going to make a slip stitch into the second stitch. Then I'll mark the slip stitch that I made while joining the round. So I'm in the second stitch now. I'm going to chain 2 here, 1, 2, then I'll make a double crochet into the same stitch. That'll be our first stitch of round 9. I'm going to mark my first stitch, and then I'm going to make a double crochet into each stitch around. So at the end of round 8 we had 168 double crochets, so at the end of round 9 you're still going to be having the same number of stitches. So just go ahead and make a double crochet into each stitch around. So you go through each of the stitches, make sure you don't skip any. So at the end of the round we have 168 double crochet. So I'll just go ahead and do mine off camera, and I'll join you at the end when I'm about to finish round 9. So I'm about to finish round 9. Let's make a double crochet here, and then to make the last double crochet of the round, I'm going to remove my stitch marker that I placed on the slip stitch I will use to join the previous row. I'm going to make my last double crochet of the round there. Then I'll finish the round with the slip stitch to the first stitch of the round, just the same way we made round 5. So now moving on to round 10, I'm going to chain 2 and then make a double crochet into the same stitch, and then I'll mark my first stitch, and I'll make a double crochet into each stitch around. So just go ahead and make a double crochet into each stitch around, and I'll join you once I'm through with round 10. I'm about to finish round 10, so I'm going to make a double crochet into the last stitch, and then finish the round with a slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. So you can see what we have so far. So I'm just going to go ahead and repeat rounds 9 and 10 until I get to round 17. So just the way we finished our round 9 and 10, just the way we made rounds 4 and 5. So just keep repeating rounds 9 and 10 over and over till you get to round 17, and I'll join you when I'm through with round 17. I've made it to round 17. I chained 1 and cut my yarn. So so far you can see how beautiful the pleats turned out. So the next thing to do is I'll make a long chain to attach around the band here. So I'll go ahead and do that off camera, and I'll come back to show you what I have once I'm done. So I made 130 chains, and I've passed it around the waist. I've tied it here. So you can decide to make more or less chains, it's totally up to you. You can also decide to add a decorative edging. I just feel it's okay the way it is. It's totally up to you. Also, I'd like to show you the seam, so you can see it's almost not showing at all. So that's just the essence of the way I did the rows, the way I alternated the rows. So you can see that it gave it a very beautiful look. So you can hardly know the beginning and ends of the row. So I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. You can find the free written pattern on my blog, and also the paid pattern in my Ravelry, Etsy and Lovecraft stores. The paid pattern contains 8 sizing options. So I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in my next one. Bye.